Oh, right. Roger said he was going to give my ship a little personality. So I take it you're my personality?
I don't do funny.
Sure you don't. Oh, so good to be back in this ship. I haven't been in here in years. But I should be able to pick up right where I left off and figure out this flying thing.
Your theory is flawed.
Who said that?
Greetings, Commander. My name is Astra.
Oh, right. Roger said he was going to give my ship a little personality. So I take it you're my personality?
I don't do funny.
Sure you don't. You're doing funny just fine.
Thank you, Commander.
As I understand it, you are my new integrated AI. Is that correct?
That's affirmative, Commander. I am capable of assisting you with many of the spacecraft's systems. I also have a database containing detailed galactic terminology definitions. Additionally, I hold information about all the constellations.
Wow, that's very impressive. You must have been very expensive.
Yes. Thank you, Commander.
Okay, Astra. It was Astra, right?
Yes, Commander.
Okay, well, as I was saying before, it has been a very long time since I've flown this ship. So, I've come to the conclusion that I might be a little bit rusty.
Your analysis is correct.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you for confirming that.
You're welcome, Commander.
Okay, Astra, I still have my original orientation manual, but I'm assuming that you can help me with my orientation?
Correct.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get started then.
Aye, Commander. By the end of this orientation session, you'll become familiar with commanding both the ship and your personal assistant. You will also have an understanding of the following. 1. The cockpit console displays. 2. Power distribution and management. 3. The 3 different flight modes. 4. How to take off and land. 5. How to deploy modules and weapons. 6. How to navigate the panel menu options. Before continuing, please make sure you have your orientation manual and read out the questions, one at a time. You are welcome to ask any of the questions again, at any time.
That's great. Thank you, Astra. Please explain to me the console.
The center console. Starting from right, there is a horizontal fuel gauge. Above this gauge, you'll see a heat signature indicator. 3 square indicators are located below the fuel gauge, mass lock, landing gear and the cargo scoop. The mass lock will be illuminated while the ship is on the surface or docked, or during flight and close to any type of mass. You will need to be clear of stations, ships and anything else regarded as mass if you need to make a jump. You cannot engage a system jump, or use supercruise if any of the cubes are illuminated. Both the cargo cube and landing gear cubes will be illuminated if either of the modules are deployed. So, if they are illuminated, they will prevent the use of some of the ship's flight systems like the FTL drive, or thruster boosting system. Next, we have the 3 columns for power management. Systems, engines and weapons, all abbreviated. As you can see, they have illuminated bars. These indicate the power available for use immediately. These will deplete and recharge depending on your power management settings and use. The power distribution is balanced equally by default. Okay, next to this is the ship's shield status hologram. This shows the orientation of your ship and the shield status by way of blue rings. If your shield begins to deplete, it will be reflected here by fading out the rings one at a time. Similarly, they'll slowly illuminate during and when your shields are charging, or fully charged respectively. Just below this is a horizontal curvature. This shows the ship's hull integrity strength as a percentage. Moving to the center, this is the hologram for the scanner. However, if the ship is docked, you will only see options for station services. Okay, moving to the left. Similarly to the hologram on the right, this one is effectively your selected target's status, and further left, the there's further information about the selected target. During targeting in flight, there may be further information that will become apparent.
Great, that was fantastic. Tell me about the power system.
Yes, Commander. On the right of the console, you'll see the power management settings and the current distribution configuration. There are 3 options here: weapons, systems, and engines. Power is equally distributed by default. However, you may reconfigure the power management for different situations. If you try the following commands now, you'll be able to see the configuration changes that I can make for you. So, for power management, I can respond to and carry out the following orders for you. 1. Power to engines. 2. Power to systems. 3. Power to weapons. 4. Balance power. Is there anything else you'd like me to explain here?
No, thank you, Astra. I think I completely understand. And I'll try those commands a little bit later. Can you tell me about the panels?
Yes, Commander. The panel menus. There are a number of interactive holographic panel menus. The first is the communication panel, and it will appear at the top left and high above the console when called upon. Here you can select from a number of options for communicating and interacting with other ships or contacts. The communications panel will automatically display an incoming message when appropriate. There are also further panels, one to the left and one to the right. The menu panel on the left has a multitude of options for navigation, targeting, and missions. The menu panel to the right will display your status and also show you a multitude of options for the ship's systems and functions. I can manage these panels for you in a few ways. You can call upon the panel menu items alone, which is best when you are more familiar with the menu tab titles. For example, they will automatically open in the menu tab title that you call out. 1. Navigation. 2. Status, and so on for each menu tab title. Otherwise, until you are familiar with the menu tab titles, you can call upon the menus with the following commands. 1. Left panel. 2. Right panel. 3. Comms panel. 4. Exit panel.
Okay, that's great. I need to know about the starport services.
Starport services. On the console in front of you, select Starport services. This will connect the ship's computer to the station's database and mainframe. It has a menu-based system where you can trade commodities, pick up contractual missions from the bulletin board, and read the latest news and announcements from the GalNet news feed. You can also manage the ship's modules in the outfitting area. Basic options for refueling and repairs are standard at most stations. Options in the starport services differ in each station. For example, larger stations may have a shipyard. Other smaller stations and platforms cannot facilitate a shipyard or even basic repairs. So, depending greatly on a station's whereabouts, or its size, or indeed the type of system it is, it will reflect in the starport services section.
What is the bulletin board?
The bulletin board. This is where you can pick up missions from factions, system authorities, and private enterprise. Some of these missions are risky, some are illegal. However, there are missions available that are legal and rewarding, both financially and for rank progression. If you select any missions, you can view the details and status of any missions you accept on the hologram on your left, under Transactions. These will also automatically update during the mission progress and reflect the relevant information on the fly, meaning you can reference the progress or completion at any time.
Alright, that sounds good. Sounds like that's where I'm going to make most of my money.
Yes, Commander.
Okay, we're almost halfway through orientation, so how about we just cover 2 more topics, and then we'll call it a day and come back to orientation tomorrow.
Okay, Commander.
Why don't you tell me about basic flight?
Basic flight and thruster velocity. The ship in normal space will travel using thrusters alone for normal space flight, for combat, approaching a station, taking off, landing, and so on. With percentage increments, I can manage the thrusters for you. For example, 25% will give you 1/4 of the ship's maximum thruster velocity, and 100% will give you the maximum thruster velocity. Alternatively, you can configure your control system for increments of 10%, so, for thrusters, I can respond to and carry out the following orders in increments of both 10% and 25%, right through to 100%. 1. Thrusters 25%. 2. Thrusters 100%. 3. Stop engines. Do you wish to know anything further?
Only one last topic for today, Astra. Tell me about launching.
Your ship, whilst docked, is attached to the landing pad by way of docking clamps. These clamps hold the ship in place for repairs, refueling, loading, and outfitting. They are only released after the launch procedure is executed. At the center of the console, you can select launch from the station service options. Once executed, the ship will then be repositioned for takeoff, then released from the docking clamps, at which point you can maneuver the ship away from the landing pad. Please make sure your throttle is set to 0 prior to initializing the launch procedure. Once the docking clamps are released, you should raise the ship vertically to approximately 30 meters, and retract the landing modules. Leave the station with thrusters at a recommended speed of no more than 20%. At larger stations, there'll be green and red lights either side of the station exit. Always exit and enter a station on the side illuminated by the green lights. There are 2 commands I can carry out for the launch procedure. 1. Launch. 2. Handover for departure. So, after you've executed the launch option, and the clamps have been released, you'll hear intermittent audible tones. These tones indicate that the ship's docking clamps have been released, and the ship is ready for flight. I can then raise the ship safely away from the landing pad. I will also retract the landing modules for you. So, to confirm, there are 2 commands I can carry out for the launch procedure. 1. Launch. Followed by 2. Handover for departure. Is there anything more you'd like to learn?
No, I don't think so, Astra. I think that was enough information for one day. Tomorrow we'll pick up and finish off the orientation. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Commander.
Goodbye, Astra.
Goodbye.